Hi everyone, this is Sierra Morningstar Blue, and I'm just hopping on to create July's energy update, although I hesitate to call it an energy update. It's kind of more of an energy check-in. I'm just kind of navigating what's coming through and just sharing what wants to be expressed and come through to offer some support for you guys, some empowered support as you're navigating these energies. And what I'm about to share is kind of an overview of what we've just kind of traversed with this triple eclipse energy that we've all been experiencing quite intensely. I feel many of us have. And a little bit of what we're moving into in July and August and kind of the rest of the year. But I'm sure once again, I might be doing another energy update later. So, but let's begin. Right now, I can say, wow, so today's the 8th. We had another gateway yesterday. It's Wednesday the 8th where I'm at. And, I can feel the energy is already really shifting. So whether you probably watch this way later, what I'm do is, this massive contraction that we were in, and now we're kind of going back, now expanding, right? So every contraction, we're gathering kind of the, we're going into density sometimes to gather the fuel that allows us to catapult into that next dimensional space. I love the analogies of like a slingshot or an arrow, right? So it's like, going back. Sometimes we have to go back and revisit old things to bring new insights and perspectives, to transmute and transform some pieces that maybe didn't fully get interacted with, really to bring more insight and healing to ground into the collective. But not only that, it's for us to gather more wisdom, more tools, more knowledge, more insights, more downloads, more multidimensional understandings of what that density was that we were that we went through, that we experienced, so we can reorganize that and use that in our gifts of what we're here to share with others, or what we're here to express, whether artistically or multidimensionally, or whether we're a channel or we're a healer or a mother or a business owner. There's just so many ways that we come through not really understanding what's going on, and then as we come out the other end, there's just so many gifts, and it can be really hard to remember that, and especially the collective energy on top of that, going through such a great purge. It can feel quite just overwhelming and confusing, and sometimes hard to see the silver lining or stay connected to that silver lining. Sometimes the deeper we go into that density. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you're kind of starting to come to the other side. A lot of us had a lot of exhaustion. So if you're still feeling exhaustion, or you went through a lot of exhaustion, it was due to the massive physical upgrades that we were experiencing. And what happens is we clear a lot when we go through a lot of physical upgrades. So the body has to clear. So I know for myself, I'm still kind of in this resting, nourishing myself after this huge, for me, it was about a 2-week physical body clearing of a lot of infections and just a lot of old energy that I had gone through many years ago. And I know many of us had just had like weird aches or pains, or just extreme physical exhaustion, really indicating the body. We see what the cells are doing as we become more crystalline. We can't, it's hard to trust and believe that the body is really working for us in some way, is really trying to find that homeostasis, that balance, and come back into alignment with its original, or that divine template, that divine perfect health template, that it wants that, it's moving towards that, and it has the intelligence to do so, but we tend to sometimes get in the way with our judgments and just kind of the fear of the unknown. And I still go through that too, right? And I certainly face some of that, meeting meeting the places within me where I was still not 100% trusting the process and really fearful of what's going on and is this going to last forever and so on and so forth. So that was a big, I just tuning into that collectively, knowing that I was going through that myself and where I'm at really tuned into the grids, I can really feel a lot of what is coming and going energetically as far as like what we're clearing, what we're integrating, collective themes. So within that resting, we also had to confront some, you know, we're still embodying or, you know, allowing that divine feminine energy to rise. You know, that it's still a huge piece of what we're doing. It's not as talked about as much as it was in the last few years, but when we rest, it's still, you know, this idea of that, like, oh, I'm not doing enough, I should be doing more today, or why am I so tired, or I should be feeling this way. You know, we can tend to put a lot of judgments. We still kind of rub up against that belief of, you know, our worth or our feeling of purpose is really connected to how much we're doing or how much we're producing. And I know that it's when we feel that fatigue, especially with not, I know some of us just had no indication of why, it can really put you in that place of, once again, having to trust. And it's really beautiful because really what's happening is like a huge integration, right? Like not just a clearing, but an integration. And the body needs that moment of stillness to just be so it can reorganize. You know, there's been a lot of chaotic energy in the collective. Everything is just like really shaking up within us, without, around us. And so it's like once that snow globe gets all shaken up, which happens, you know, every time we move through a portal or a gateway, right? Because we're moving into a new space and it's a death and rebirth process, right? So it disorganizes or kind of comes apart, you know, certain parts of us and stuff to reorganize and realign into a new geometric pattern, a new formation that is more congruent with what the next level of what we're wanting to embody or share or express, right? And coming from this new frequency. So trusting that, and that's what we just went through, this huge, massive process, like, of clearing and transmutation with these eclipse energies. Not only that, I really want to touch on, there are a lot of women, souls in female bodies who went through a massive sacral clearing. A lot of us were literally bleeding and shedding, you know, through the womb, thousands of years of oppression and sexual abuse. So those themes were very apparent, and they're streaming through our news outlets. I don't watch a lot of news, but this, so that's even really interesting for me. I don't watch any news. I'm not, this is a perfect example of everything that I need to know as far as like what I need to interact with, or, well, first, let me just clarify. We're all connected. So it's kind of impossible to really just put your head in the sand. You can try to do that, but you are connected to everyone in humanity, and you are constantly feeling and navigating and allowing energies to move through you that aren't even yours. So it's impossible to be totally disconnected from what's going on in the world. So having said that, you know, watching the news for me doesn't resonate any longer, but certain stories or topics or things come into my awareness because it's magnetizing to me, because it's usually something I'm going through. And so this is a perfect example of me being aware of, you know, certain, I don't know, people getting arrested, things like that, you know, around the misconduct and kind of, you know, the crimes and things going on in humanity, which are very real. And I could really feel a ton of energy being released. I was not set to have my cycle on the full moon, and it's really interesting. I had many sisters and many friends and light workers that the same, you know, we were all purging and having quite a strong physical and emotional reaction, whether it was fatigue or a lot of just like emotional energy, or maybe anger or rage, or any kind of focused energy, just wanting to transmute and move through. And the beautiful thing, as I was tuning into this, I was being shown that the males too were also a part of this clearing, because so many awakened males now, especially many males that are really doing the inner work and really connecting with that divine feminine energy and allowing that to rise, they stepped into that space holding kind of role, and they were anchoring a lot of light, and it felt like a vibration that was very resonant to peace, like peace and calmness, like really holding this space and allowing this great purge to happen. Whether, you know, they were conscious of it or not, I really noticed that even with my partner. And yeah, tuning into that, I was just being shown this kind of this collective of male bodies, I should say, anchoring and holding this really beautiful light. And I love that, because it really shows us that it's not about separation, like, you know, women and men. It's like this beautiful dance that we're all doing together, and what we're moving into when we are allowing both our feminine and masculine energies of divinity, you know, rise and be expressed and come back into balance within us. Like, we're starting to see this cooperation and this cooperative healing go on, you know, within the lightworking community, and within our partnerships and friendships, and it's really beautiful. And so I love that piece came through, because it never resonates, you know, so much for me to think about, you know, just the women, and, you know, it's kind of gives this women against men, and, you know, we've been oppressed. And, you know, I really know that that many males have also been oppressed and gone through their levels of being manipulated, and, you know, they're very much in need of that feminine energy to come through to revitalize and reawaken and reopen and nourish their chakric system and their auric field. It's just it's very imperative to them. So kudos to them for doing the work and being a part of, you know, this journey that we are all on. I also wanted to quickly share another piece to this sacral crystallization that I was witnessing going on, especially for me, was moving us into a space of more receiving. So that, I think, was part of another kind of aspect of that fatigue, you know, is coming into that remembering. I certainly talk about this all the time in sessions, clients, workshops, like receiving comes up so much. It's an ongoing mantra for myself. You know, willing to know your worth, and to know that you're always enough, and that you're always worthy to receive. Everything is ready to source through you. It's all here. It's all, you know, the quantum field, you're a part of it. It's you, you're in it, it's everywhere. There's nothing in the way from you and all that you need. And so the best way, when we start to feel, you know, in fear or in lack, or we start to get in that anxiety or uncertainty of how is this going to work out, and how is this going to come together, is for me going back into that receptivity, and just setting that mantra of I am receiving, puts me in a vibration matched to of total trust of my higher self and my team, and, you know, all parts of me that are always conspiring to bring me like everything that I need that's in my highest good. And when we're moving into 5D, that's, you know, or shifting into 5D. 5D is here, and as the more we tap into those energies, like that's what it's about. It's about, you know, knowing that everything we need is already there. So the question is, what do we want to create? What lights us up? You know, what are we here to share in the world? It's not so much the how as it is just taking that one little next step, that of saying yes to whatever it is that excites you. And that's kind of the healing that I feel was going on between the sacral and the solar plexus, because we've been in this so much clearing and so much contraction this first half of the year. And as we're moving into the second half, I feel like more kind of yangy energy coming online of, okay, we've just gone through massive clearings, massive integrations, tons of downloads coming through. Now, what is it we're wanting to share and express? What is it we're wanting to create? How are we wanting to now implement all those divine inspirations and creative ideas into physical form? And the next piece, because I feel we had a full body clearing, really, like especially this triple eclipse I didn't feel like one particular chakra. I've talked about certain ones, but it's the next piece that was really coming in through loud, right, was like the throat. So very much about, here we are, we're here to really truly start sharing and communicating with each other through loving compassion through the heart, not through hierarchy, not through judgment, not through trying to force our opinions and beliefs upon each other, right? We're here to share our inner truth, and the inner truth always comes from the heart space. That's the Christ consciousness. That's the unity consciousness. That's the space of unconditional love. And what we have to share isn't always going to be received. It always isn't going to be, people aren't going to resonate or agree with that. But we have, a fundamental human right to, universal right to our soul's expression. And it's always shifting and changing, but allowing everyone that platform to be able to express wherever they're at, whether we agree with it or resonate with it or not. And the piece, again, to go back to the healing piece, I feel what was going on and within the throat is, the more we can embody, the more we're healing kind of these lower chakra areas and crystallizing a lot of that density of unworthiness, oppression, being unlovable, fear to be seen, and all kinds of, inner child wounds. And we're always embodying more self-love. It's all, this ascension truly comes down to a journey of self-love, right? Is releasing all the ways we have been unable to really love ourselves unconditionally. And the more we do so, the more the throat, we have an inner dialogue that's based in a higher frequency of the truth of who we are, which is sovereign beings of pure love and light. And the more we can talk to ourselves from this compassionate, loving space, the more we start to feel a confidence of knowing our truth. It's the sovereignty really begins to rise and start to come through the throat to be expressed outwardly, right? And how we want to communicate, or how we want to express our gifts. And when we still have that unworthiness piece, right, it's scary to want to share or to feel safe, to be yourself. But that's what we came here to do, is to be nothing other but our unique self. And who we are, our gifts, are the frequencies we're here to share, can't be bought. They can't be sold, or they can't be packaged in a program. It's a real journey within. And have people to help guide us to kind of discover that and pull that out and encourage us in that journey. And it's so awesome that we have a is helping us do that, right? But at the end of the day, it's your journey, and it's your message, and it's your creativity, it's your unique expression, it's your multidimensional, full spectrum color bandwidths of multidimensional cosmic light, like all these codes and frequencies and colors and sounds, like everything that's wanting to come through you is, that's why you came here, right? That's what you came here to do and to express. And it's a journey, and we do it one step at a time, and we navigate that in each new now moment. We're discovering something new. And that's, again, the beauty of this journey we went on, because we're gathering pieces of us that perhaps that we felt was unlovable, or you know, still maybe in a place of trauma or sadness or what have you. And once we, you know, allow that integration to occur, there's a beautiful wisdom that came from that journey, and that's what's wanting to come out and be shared. Um, and I'm just looking at my notes. This is going up and continuing up into the third eye, and this is kind of where I'm going to end. This also, I feel there was a lot of crown and pineal clearings, and I really feel what's coming through is as we're going into more creative expression, you know, we're opening up to more of our galactic soul pieces. And I've been talking a lot about that, as many other people have been. But the pineal is that receiver into these multidimensional frequencies. It's like allowing us to be open, to believe that we are multidimensional, that we have guides. We all have guides. We all have information streaming through us all the time. We're all connected. There's always messages and synchronicities and ways that, you know, our multidimensional aspects of our own self is trying to communicate with us. It's always there, and we all receive that and interact with that and experience it very uniquely. But a gateway to opening that up again is just like, I feel there's a huge emergence, the inner child, like really rising, you know, wanting to play, wanting to dance, wanting to sing, wanting to freely express itself and not be worried about being shamed or scolded, you know, wanting to really just play for the first time without having to worry about being rejected or abandoned. And so allowing the imagination to really expand out and start moving into these places of magic and infinite possibilities. And because that's what's needed. That's what's needed right now is is imagining the impossible of what we thought could never be possible for humanity, for the collective, to start opening up to even allowing yourself to think that big, to think that expanded, to think that galactic, to be open to receive that, because there's always a higher dimensional a light stream that can meet you wherever you're at, to what you need to transform or create or, you know, and share with the world. So that's what we're moving into, because that's what's needed as this old paradigm is crumbling. We're needing to rebuild something new and manifest and shift into a new state of awareness. And that's the part of where the human comes into, you know, the what lights you up. That's what you're here to do. So what are you here to do? How are you here to play? What are you here to express? And when I mean play, it doesn't always have to mean like, you know, like laughing and glitter and sprinkles. It's just tapping into that frequency of, you know, being a kid, and say you're coloring and you're doing art, or you're playing with your dolls or whatever you're doing, you know, like, you know, or playing out, you know, for me, it's playing out in nature. I lose all sense of time and space, you know, I'm just in the zone. And you know, that's when always so much inspiration comes through me. And so for me, it is through art, it's through coloring, it's through spending time in nature. That's a big one for me. So that's what I really believe what's going on right now. And this is all coming down to these freedom codes and us beginning to reclaim our sovereignty and feeling safer to really land in the body, to really go through this deep embodiment process, to really commit to being here on earth and to what it is we're here to anchor and share, and whatever that looks like for you. It's unique. We are all unique. Our journey is unique. Our process is unique. What we need is unique. And that's what we're starting to reclaim, is the variety of frequencies and vibrations that we all hold and that we all get to share. Ascension doesn't come in one, you know, template that's like the same for everyone, right? We're all, you know, experiencing this so differently. We all experience everything differently. I mean, that's the cool thing about it, is I love hearing when my clients talk about how they connect to their guides, or how they feel energy, or how they intuit things, because everyone's so different, and it always like opens me up to even more. And that's the beauty of of unity consciousness and exchanging codes and exchanging frequencies and sharing our light with each other. And it's a process. And we have a ways to go, but here we are. Like, ascension is real. It's happening. Everything is crumbling, and so I invite you all to start moving into, you know, discovering and being curious, you know, tapping into that inner child more and more as we move into this latter half of the year, and what it is you want to share, even if it's what you want to share with your family, or maybe you want to write a blog, or however that shows up and looks like for you. So I'm going to leave it at that, sending you all so much love, really and truly. Like, I had moments of profound states of awestruck for how strong, how powerful, like what warriors of love and light and compassion that this community embodies, like what we are clearing and going through and transforming and crystallizing. It's you know, don't forget to give yourself a hug, to celebrate all that you do by merely just existing and being alive at this time is always more than enough. And you should always, I don't like should, but it's an invitation to continue celebrating yourself. So as the sun is beginning to set, my lighting's about to change, and I feel the transmission ending. So please connect with me at any time if you have any questions about what I'm sharing. And I anticipate another energy update to get deeper into the July energies in a couple weeks. So much love to you all, and thank you.